Welcome to our daily Forex market analysis, and this is for trading on February 25. This is for trading on February 25th, 2020. Just a quick disclaimer here before we get started. This is for educational purposes only. Trading is a risky business, so please be careful with your money. All right, as usual, we'll start off with our Forex factory, our calendar here. Didn't have a ton of data today. The German IFO business climate numbers were positive, and we saw euro go up as a result of that. But the big theme that we have seen in the market today was around coronavirus. So on the weekend, we found out that there was there were some changes that happened. First of all, there's still no cure. And then the number of cases related to coronavirus have grown a fair bit, as well as the number of deaths as well. And Korea is taking some precautions. Iran's closing off borders to certain flights. And basically around the world, multiple different countries are canceling flights, or they are restricting flights from China. So as a result, it's actually spreading. So we have seen, or we have heard about virus cases in other countries as well. So now it's becoming more of a challenge, and that's why when the market opened, we saw that the equity markets dropped and the safe haven assets did quite well. So having said that, now this type of stuff can be quite volatile because market can react quite suddenly, and then if a good news comes out, market can basically turn around fairly quickly as well. So we did a little while ago, we did say that basically a World Health Organization is not declaring coronavirus as a pandemic just yet. And based on that, market is reacting right now. So what I'm saying is basically when we have some sudden moves like this, we could get the opposite moves as well. So just keep that in mind. Expect volatility in the markets. So coming up on Tuesday, we have final GDP numbers here for Germany, and then we have consumer confidence numbers and Richmond manufacturing numbers from the US. So these numbers are important here, as we saw when the consumer climate numbers went, or the business confidence numbers went up for euro went up as well. So if these numbers they meet expectations, we could see US dollar go up as well. But if they are below expectations, then we're likely to see a drop in US dollar. So let's go into, and that's pretty much it for the most part here. And we have a couple of FOMC members speaking. So there, we just need to keep an eye on their speeches, see if they say anything about the coronavirus and the impact on the economy. Let's go on to the charts now. We'll start off with euro dollar here. Euro, we've had a bullish candle close here for euro, but as we can see, it's still within this range that it's been trading in. So it hasn't been able to go through the resistance yet. So right now, I would say bias is bullish for euro, but with caution. So what I am going to look at here for euro would be the reaction around 1.0870, so basically the high here, or we could see it go all the way into 1.0900. So it can pull back, and that would still be a pullback in the larger scheme of things here. So we could still get that move. So watch out for that. In this case, I would look for either this type of a move, a 1.0870 as the turnaround point, or we could go into 1.08, 1.09. So it could turn from there, because this is also a nice swing level here. So watch out for those two pullback levels. So actually, let's say neutral for this one, because I'm not convinced that it is fully bullish at this point. So neutral for euro dollar, but should it break through 1.09, then there's lots of room to the upside, and it could go all the way up into 110. So watch out for that. Right now, neutral bias for euro dollar. Pound dollar here, this one didn't really do a whole lot. Price went into support and it just pulled off of that. At this point, it does look bearish, but we have to be careful with this one as well. US dollar didn't do as well today. Considering everything, usually when we see the equity markets drop and everybody's going into safe haven assets, US dollar does well, but not so much today. So with this one here, I will look for a retest of the bottom here at 1.2875 level. If it holds above, chances are very high it's going back towards the middle of the range first and then towards the high of the range. So watch out for the support here at 1.2875. So I'm looking for it to drop here, but if it does go through this support level, next target is 1.2765. But until then, watch out for this move because it could happen. So bias for now is bearish for pound dollar. Aussie dollar here, this one was impacted by the coronavirus issue here, and we saw that price actually dropped, but then it hasn't been able to make it through the support level. So now as the trading gets underway here in Asia here, we are seeing that price is moving back up here. Aussie generally tends to do poorly when we see any kind of issues here, especially with the coronavirus. This is Aussie is tied into Australian economy is tied into the Chinese economy because of the partnership in terms of exports there. So it gets impacted. So right now here, we are seeing that price is pulling back here, and we could see it go all the way into 0.6640, but it could also get stuck here at 0.6620. So those are the two levels I would be watching for a pullback, 0.6640 or 0.6620. If it goes through that, there's plenty of room to the upside here. Essentially, if it goes through the high here or through today's high, it could go higher. So with this one here, I'm neutral as well. We'll have to see how the market reacts. So there has been a big move in terms of the equity markets, and that could unravel, which means these could go back up as well. So for now, neutral for Aussie dollar. And in terms of our New Zealand here, this one is looking a little bullish here as well. This one could go higher. The first level to watch would be 0.6350. Now, if it holds below that level, I would look for it to come back towards the bottom here, 0.6300. But once it gets through that level, we could see it go all the way into 0.6400. So right now I'm neutral, because if it doesn't go through the high, I would look for it to just come back down. So I would look for something like this if it doesn't go through today's high at 0.6350. So neutral bias for New Zealand dollar. Dollar CAD here, this one has gone up. So this one is looking bullish. Next target is 1.3320. And should it go through that, we're looking at 1.3350. So bias is bullish here for dollar CAD. All right, let's take a look at our commodities now. We'll start off with silver. As we can see, there was a big jump up in silver, but it finished the day to the downside here. So we have a big pin bar. This one's looking bearish here, and I would look for a potential pullback into 18.71, right into this level here, and then drop. But keep an eye again on how the coronavirus issues develop. If there is more concern in the market, then we could see this one go up. It could just turn around from our support level right over here, 18.46, and this one could go higher. So keep an eye on that level. Right now, though, it is looking bearish. If it goes, once it goes through this level, next target is 18.25 here. So for now, bias is bearish for, or 18.20. So bias is bearish for silver. Gold as well went up. It went all the way up, but now, as we can see, price after that, those comments from the World Health Organization, things are turning around, but it did not finish up. Price did open quite a bit to the upside, and then it turned around and came back. So this one's looking bearish as well. We could see a drop, but for that to happen, we have to see a hold below 1648. If it holds below 1648, then next we're looking at 1631. But if it holds above this level, I will look for another retest of the high potentially. So right now, price is bearish for gold. Oil here, oil has dropped a fair bit, and this is why bias, Canadian dollar has performed poorly overall today, but here bias is bearish. In terms of gold, I would look for a retest here, pull back into 52.20 approximately, and then we could see a drop here. So bias is bearish for oil. Copper here, copper is interesting as well, still trading in that range. We did have a bearish day here, but right now it is not, it hasn't broken through the support level yet. So if it doesn't break through the support, this one could go higher. So for now, the level to watch would be 2.55. So if it holds below 2.55, I will look for a further move to the downside here. But should it go through, we're looking for basically a move back towards the top of the range. So right now, bias is bearish, but I would watch out for this one. Bitcoin here, we had a bearish day. It is still into support. So we do need to see a break of support through 94.50 for it to drop further, but bias is bearish here. 92.65 is the first target, and if it drops through that, we are looking at 9050. So bias is bearish for now for Bitcoin. All right, let's take a look at our equities here. As we can see, a huge drop in S&P 500 here. Markets opened down, and then it just continued lower. Now, price is into support. See how price dropped right into this level and then took off from here? Watch out for that type of thing. Markets have been doing this. They have been ignoring all the negative data and news, and there is a lot of optimism overall in the market. So that's something to keep an eye on. If price holds above 32.20, it is going higher. And the level that I want to watch here is 1.3265 approximately. If it holds below, then we could see a potential move to the downside. But like I said, because of all this optimism, if it goes through this one, we are essentially looking for a move higher. So right now my bias is bearish, but like I said, just be careful. If it doesn't break through 32.20, it is going higher. Nasdaq here, same thing here as well. We have a big drop in the market. Bias is bearish, but take it with a grain of salt, because just like here, things can turn around and go even higher. So right now, bias is bearish. In terms of a pullback, I would look at 92.20 potentially as a pullback level before it drops here. Again, if it goes through this level though, there's a lot of room to the upside. So for now, bias is bearish. First target is 89.70 and then 88.20. Dow Jones here, also bearish. It opened low and then it kept on dropping. So this is still looking bearish. In terms of, same thing applies though. Markets can turn around on a dime. This is what happened here. Price dropped and then took off, right? So that's the type of stuff we have to be careful with. But for now, 28.209 would be a potential level for a pullback to keep an eye on. And then above that, there's it can go into right into 28,250. So this is the level I would watch. Essentially, if it holds below this level, then I would look for a continuation move to the downside. So I'm looking for pullback and a drop. So that's the move I would expect here. But if it goes through this resistance at 28,250, very likely that this can happen. So for now, bias is bearish. First target is 27,700, then 27,400 is the second target. And then we have DAX here. This one dropped as well, but again, we are into support or close to a support. So if price does not go through that support level, chances are it's going to drop. So with this one, the pullback levels that I would watch out for would be 13,100, and then looking for a drop from there, 12,880, and then 12,750. So this is the move I would expect. Same thing here, if it goes through this 13,000 level, then chances are it will fill this gap here. So for now, bias is bearish with caution again. Oh, and target is 12,880 and then 12,750. And FTSE here, a big drop here in FTSE as well. Now, same thing here, because of the big moves here, price can turn around. So it is right into that support resistance level, and it can turn here. So watch out for that. So I would say bias is bearish again. I would be super cautious because market has been doing this so much. It will drop based on some negative news like coronavirus for a day, and then it just flips and goes even higher. So that's the type of move that we have to keep an eye on, because it will do that. So this is what I'm expecting. Pull back into 7,200 potentially, and then 7,120. And then below that, we have 70.80. So bias is bearish with caution though again. Nikkei here, this one is, as we can see, it's pulling back here. So all the equity markets are pulling back right now. And that's what I'm talking about. It is very volatile. Markets are pulling back. Look at that. So it's just a very volatile move to the upside. It's not a good move. These type of moves are very volatile. They can get filled very easily. So that's why we have to be cautious. So right now, bias is bearish based on this, but as you can see, this one's pulling back. If it goes through this 22,650 level, this one could continue up all the way, and we would see a reversal, and then that will carry through the other equity markets as well. So generally we see, because Nikkei opens first, we see that move happen in Nikkei, and then everything else falls into line as well. So right now, bearish, but like we see, it can turn around fairly quickly. So that's it for today. What I would say right now is overall, I'm not liking the markets at the moment, so just be cautious. Better to be safe than sorry. So that's it for today. Have a wonderful trading day, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.